Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. Wendy has spent the last 2 years helping women with various stages of endometriosis to heal naturally after putting her condition into remission. After her own healing success from stage 4 endometriosis and adenomyosis, she's inspired to heal others, and her goal is to help some of the 175 million women know that there is another way other than painkillers, drugs, or surgery. This is the place to be for real talk with real people for real results, so you can learn how to heal your endometriosis naturally. Please note that the opinions expressed in this program may represent options, but are not a substitute for proper medical care. Before starting any new healthcare program, we recommend you consult with a health professional.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Wendy K Laidlaw here from Heal Endometriosis Naturally. I am really excited today because I've got a former student who has said that she's going to come back on and share where she is. I think it's almost 24 months on. I normally get women back at sort of 12 months on if I can, but it's almost 2 years after the event when Stacey had worked with me and had her gorgeous daughter Maddie, and I just thought you guys would find it really interesting just to kind of hear from Stacey, 2 years on from when you first heard her on the podcast, and just get a sense of just how impactful this information and these protocols can be and how they can have in your life. So Stacey, it is such a joy to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you. I feel so so fond of you and your journey and where you come from and where you were and where you are now. And I wonder, for those who maybe haven't listened to your other podcast, if you could just give a bit of background information about where we started, where we met, and the early start. What would it was like for you before you read the book and you started working with me? Maybe give it a bit of background of what you were like physically.
Okay. Well, I think it was maybe about 4 years ago when I read your book, and I was actually just about to have my second surgery in a year, to, as I like to call it, to kind of get cleaned up. I knew I had a lot going on. I was pretty much bed rest. I couldn't really walk. I couldn't really do anything except move from couch to bed, agonizing pain, pelvic pain, the worst I can imagine. And thinking back now, I still can't even describe the pain I was in because it was so awful. Yeah. Something that I would never put on anyone. And I was searching and searching, trying to figure out what I could do for myself besides have yet again another surgery. And the day of my surgery was when I found Wendy's book. I got it. Like, I think I even contacted you or some way. I got the book and I read it. I ended up having to have the surgery, and I read this book, and it literally changed my entire view on how to handle my own personal endometriosis, how to handle the doctors, so how to advocate for myself, how to stay healthy, what foods to eat, because I really wasn't eating. And I didn't realize that a lot of this has to do with food and really taking care of yourself. Back then I just thought, okay, well, the doctors can handle it, even though they weren't. So by reading this book, and learning what there was, I knew there was hope. And then I somehow got in contact with you again, and I did your program, and it was, so inspiring to just know that if you can do it, why can't I? Yeah. And then you showed me the tools that I was able to do myself at home and work it. Not just, I didn't have to take everything that you said. I got to take the tools that you taught me, learn how it worked with my budget, with what I'm doing in my daily life. And that was the most important thing, that I was able to learn how to do it on my time and with what I have in my resources. Yeah. And I was actually able to be completely pain-free for about, I'd say almost 3 to 6 months before I got pregnant. And I was told I never could have kids. And I mean, it literally changed my life.
Oh, it just gives me goosebumps even hearing about it again now. It really warms my heart, because I think when I'm hearing you talk again, and like, I remember how ill you were. I remember you sending me a video to apply to work with me. I remember, I think I still have that somewhere. And you were bedridden, and you just had your second surgery, and you had so much bladder pressure and pain, and it was constant. You couldn't sleep, you couldn't eat.
Yeah.
And you were just in such a bad state, and to kind of be speaking to you now, you know, and as you say, to be told that you were never going to have children, and then like a beautiful Maddie, you know, and she's around. Well, what's it like even just recanting this story now after all those years?
It's kind of hard, because I came so far, and to where I stand today, I'm literally have maybe 3 pain days out of the month, if that. I mean, and it's not even like pain days. It's, oh, that doesn't feel very good. Oh, okay. Well, that's what that pain is. You know, it's my ovulation pain, and I can pinpoint it down to the day, down to, okay, it's just going to last for like an hour, compared to being bed rest. I mean, I remember even when you said the video, I couldn't even speak. I was in so much pain. Yeah. And now I'm able to live life, hold a job. I couldn't even hold a job then. You know, I'm actually going to the gym now. I mean, I'm not pushing myself, but I'm able to exercise. You know, I got to the point where, okay, now I can do this. But it took a very long time to even think that this was even possible. It just blows my mind how healthy I am now compared to then. And I don't know, I can't even, I just know that there's just hope, you know, and I want everyone out there to know that it is possible. You know, the only way I got through it was knowing, okay, it's only a bad day. It's only a bad day. It's only a bad moment. It's not a bad life. This pain is not going to last. I can fix this. I have to be adamant. I can do this for myself. Yeah. And if I don't, no one else is going to do it. And that's kind of the only mindset. And, you know, Wendy, you taught me how to do that too, though. That was the other thing is that reading this book with your coaching, with the support at home, with the support through the food, through, you know, supplements, everything, you have to literally use every single tool that you're given to be able to kind of almost get to where I am. And that's, I feel, is very important to let people know that too.
Yeah, and that's why it's such a joy to have you back on, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and share this, to give women hope. And it's not even, as you say, just giving people hope, it's giving people a roadmap, you know, of the tools, because I even actually have done a roadmap now for the women that come into my programs. I've actually got a written roadmap, because everything's so step by step.
Yes, it is.
In such a way, because clearly when women start working with me, they're in a lot of pain, or they're in a lot of distress, about, you know, they can hardly think, let alone speak. So the information has to be drip fed in manageable ways, so that you can actually absorb it, you know, in the frame of mind that you're in, and also make the essential changes that need to be made. And I think that's it. It's quite disheartening, isn't it, when we're all conditioned to go down the mainstream medical machine, and there is a time and a place for the medical machine, and there's some amazing things that they can do now, and, you know, with transplants and accident and emergency, and, you know, there's a place for it. But with a condition like endometriosis, you know, I heard of a lady yesterday, she's going in for her 9th surgery, and, you know, and you're just like, I know I had to have 6 before. There had to be another way. And thank goodness you only had the 2 before you reached out. And now you've broken that cycle, because from, again, what's so lovely for me to hear is that you have this relationship now with your body where you understand, you know, and again, if we were to pick up again, I know I could get that ovulation pain gone. You know, that little niggle that's disappeared. You and I both know we could slash that. We could get
but to be honest with you, it's almost, I don't mind it, because it reminds me of everything I went through, and to have that little itty bits of pain, I'm like, okay, I came all this way. Like I I mean, I know I shouldn't have, but I almost like it as a reminder of where I was and where I'm now, and
the power that you have, the power that you have over your own body.
Yes.
That you, and that was my thing. I didn't know I had that power over my body.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was possible. And it's such a joy for me, like, to speak with students like yourself who really get it, really understand the power that we have of what comes in, on, and around our body. And I'm sure there's women listening to this going, oh, well, I'll just buy the book and do it myself. What would you say to these women? Because I know there's women who've read my book and they're like, oh, I'll just try it myself. Because I think we're all very similar women. You know, we all care about other people. Yes. We don't like investing in ourselves. We don't like to draw too much attention to ourselves. And then, but women have come to me and said, why did I waste another year in pain? When I could come to you?
And I don't mean to laugh, but I know I was there. Yeah. It's hard because us women, yes, we do not take time for ourselves at all. Really. We have kids, we have families, we have friends, we have a life, we have work. We are juggling 10 million things at once, but it is so important to care for yourself, because if you're not going to care for yourself, you can't care for the other people. You can't give the love that you need if you're not giving the love to yourself, especially if you're in pain. You know, yes, I did first pick up your book and was like, oh, I could do this myself. And then I was like, wait a minute. No, I can't. I don't know where to get this stuff. I don't understand how many supplements to take or how to slowly take this out of my diet and then bring this into it, you know. And not just about the food though, but you give us life lessons that we need to control the emotion that comes with the pain, because there's a lot of baggage that come with that pain, and being able to handle that, and then again still handling life. So it's kind of, you just can't use one tool. You know, my physical therapist said this to me when it was time for me to end my therapy, and I was really scared because I was like, oh, I still needed to hold on to it to know that I was okay. But she said, you have enough tools in your toolbox. I'm confident enough where you know what you need to do for yourself now if that pain comes or if this happens. And I never really understood that until I walked away from it. And now I have all these tools. And by reading your book, you gain a little of it, but you still need someone to kind of guide you just on the right path to the right tools for your life and for your healing process. And yes, you can do it alone, but you're not going to get the full benefit that you really need for your body.
And I think that's it. I think women with endometriosis have had to suffer on their own for so long anyway. And feeling isolated and alone and in pain, I think that's the thing what a lot of women really, and I know I struggled with, you know, I was bedridden for 3 years and so isolated and alone and so depressed and questioning whether or not I could even carry on or all that kind of stuff. And then when you start, I've recognized on my journey, I use the analogy of like Arthur and his round table. You know, he had his round table of advisors. Actually are building safe people that, you know, and hopefully I'm the starting point, and then you can build on that of people that you can know you can reach out and care about you, that you're vested interest in like you being well, because they come from a heartfelt perspective, not, you know, you probably heard recently of all these doctors and things have just all been arrested for, you know, prescribing like 32 million opioid drugs, killers, you know, and you're just like, oh my goodness, it's just horrible. But to build that table, build that support system of safe people, not of people that are toxic and critical and bring you down. It's all about empowerment in a safe,
oh my God,
that's way.
And that I kind of knew a little about that before I met you. You know, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm very connected to my spirits and everything. But when I met you, I never really knew how you needed someone else to empower you to bring the best out of you. And then you can take that along with you and use that throughout the rest of your life. And that really is so important, because now I have your little voice in my head when I you know, when I'm at a restaurant and I'm like, what do I need to get? Or if I'm at the grocery store, picking up, reading the ingredients, or, you know, all these other little tools that you've taught me, it's your voice, or it's, you know, like I said, when I did physical therapy, so now I have her voice in the back of my head too. So you kind of need all that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women with endometriosis, they're so caring, they're so giving, and invariably they haven't had what they needed, you know, love and support and encouragement growing up. I've heard of various successful people, actors and singers, and they had like one teacher or one parent that fully believed in them. And I think sometimes you just need someone who, you know, is championing for you, and like this mentor running alongside you, believing in you, because you know, my innate belief of the body's ability to heal itself is just insane, and it excites me beyond belief. And of course, when women start working with me, they naturally have lost faith in their body. They've lost faith in themselves and in life. And part of the journey is restoring, or even just for the first time, helping someone have faith and belief in themselves, in their body, their body's ability to heal, and what they are capable of. Because, you know, being bedridden is not a great place to come from. And very few other conditions are as so poorly understood as endometriosis. That, you know, you mentioned it, the emotional component, it's a huge factor. But so people have said to me, is it normal to be depressed? I'm like, of course, you're in pain and you're depressed. You know, of course you're going to be depressed, because, you know, you're isolated, you're alone, you've had to give up your work, you know, you've got no money coming in. That's a depressing situation. You're allowed to be depressed. So bringing people along and helping them recognize, like yourself, recognizing your worth and your value and things, is such an important part of the journey as well.
Yeah, I love that. That is such a big part of my life now. It really is, to understand my body and to know what I'm going through. It's a game changer, really. It really is. I mean, I can't say anything more than that, except that it's a real game changer of now knowing what I can handle, what I can't. You know, it just, I wouldn't be where I am today without your help. That's all. It's really all I can say. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's awesome. And even to see you develop into your painting and other areas of your life, there's the growth in you, and that sort of development and just belief in yourself of what's possible. Because I think once you've said it, once you get this understanding of your body, you think, oh, right, I've got this new relationship with my body. Whereas before, when you're in pain, you just want to escape this thing that you're living in.
Yeah.
So overwhelming.
Yeah. And you also really find a lot about who you are and what you can handle. And it really makes you stronger. And it's a really great feeling too. It really is. I mean, so much came out of it. Like you just said, you know, I really believed in my painting. And, you know, I've stuck with it. I'm, you know, right now I'm in the process of trying to set up an Etsy shop and all this stuff. And I never thought I would be able to do anything like that.
That's awesome.
Especially to use a computer, you know, I mean, I had to learn how to use a computer with you. So that was really rough. That was a rough stage, because not only was I in pain, but I'm like, great, now I got to try to use this computer. I got to keep track of things. I got to do all this. But I did. And it felt great to just, like I said, you learn so many other life skills while learning about yourself. And that is, I mean, I'm a true believer that you always need to better yourself, and you always need to challenge yourself or change and just make, even if it's just one little itty bitty thing you do a day to better yourself, your life, your future. And if anyone, you know, if anyone's listening, just one little thing to better yourself really makes a difference in a long run, even if it means getting up and taking a shower that day. You know, wash your hair, give yourself a good scrub, you know, take a deep breath, listen to some music, even if that's all you can do. At least that little bit, for that little bit of time, will bring a little bit of happiness in your life, will bring a little bit of shine, that to know that, okay, tomorrow's going to be better, or I can do this even. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think when, if as people are listening to this, if they're listening to, and I've had emails from people who are listening to the podcast and saying, you know, it's kind of just, it's like a little spot of light at the end of a dark tunnel. And I it's that, you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, well, it worked for Stacey and it worked for Wendy, but it might not work for me. Well, you've got to take that action. You've got to take that first step. You've got to kind of like, you know, have faith in your body's amazing ability to heal itself, because the power that you have is beyond what anyone ever imagined, has ever told you. I think we give up that power because we're conditioned to do so. We go to a stranger in a white coat, and we give over our body and we say, help us. And we do it so trustingly, because invariably we're nice people, and we think, oh, they know our bodies better than us, but we've not been taught how to listen to our body. And then before we know it, our bodies are getting sicker and worse, and more pain. And then we're being accused of being a hypochondriac, and we're being accused of, oh, it's all in her head and she's making it up. As you're like, yes, I know. When I was a little girl, I decided that my dream was to be bedridden all day and have isolation, depression, and be in it. It's not a little girl's dream.
Yep.
And it's so insulting to have that. And I think and I know it's scary when somebody said to me recently, I feel like I'm going rogue from the medical profession by taking this other path. And I'm saying, well, twofold. If you have a doctor or consultant or gynecologist who really cares about you and sees that his methods or her methods are making you sicker, they have a duty of care to at least support you on this new journey, at least want you well, you know. And you know, the other thing is, it has no side effects going natural route. And the bonus is you get empowered and you feel good and you get to know your body, and you know, you're dealing with all these different things yourself as a part of a group. A lot of people in the group have talked about becoming a boss of their endometriosis and endoboss, and I've even trademarked the name endoboss because I think it really signifies like you are an endoboss, like you are a boss of your endometriosis. And it's not something that anyone has ever sort of intimated is even possible in mainstream. And I think, again, to be fair to the doctors, they're just a byproduct of their training, and the training organizations are run by the governments, which are influenced by the pharmaceuticals. So it's not their fault, but I do think that some women have been a bit, oh, well, I don't know, the natural route, will my doctor be upset? Well, if he cares about you, he's going to want you to be well. And I've met some amazing doctors who have moved over into the natural route, if you like. And this is not woo-woo stuff. This is not like, you know, have a glass of ginger in the morning and all your symptoms will be gone. This is like, you know, using the physiological and the biological processes and working with your body.
Yeah. Yes. When you were talking about the doctors, I have to say though, just hearing it and coming from having so many struggles with doctors, I hear you say that there's nice doctors out there, and I just wish that more people were able to have that experience. Because it's hard.
It's really hard when you've got someone that you're putting all your faith and hope in, and there's maybe arrogance, and there's you know, they're looking down upon you, and you're so vulnerable because you're in so much pain, and you're like, literally, you're begging them to help you. And there's that disdain and that, you know, disgust, and that, you know, we've all had that experience. Every woman that's had endometriosis has had, even from female doctors, which is the most shocking, I think.
I've lost a lot of doctors, and just like even talking about this, it's almost like I can kind of feel tense. I mean, not really tense, but it's almost like a soft subject, I guess, because of my past with all the doctors that I've gone through, and because I've lost them and the way they've treated me has made me not want to go to the doctors. I'm looking now more into, okay, well, why do I really, really need to go to this doctor? You know, what is the real reason? And can I not figure out how to do this at my house? You know, is it too expensive for me to get the natural way to fix it? You know, so that's how my brain has almost now changed, because I don't even want to step foot in a doctor's office. I mean,
well, that's it. And I think that's really important. I know when my son broke his ankle, and oh my goodness, they were just like, so you know, the orthopedics were like, right, we need to get him to have surgery. And I was just like, no, I don't want it. But, you know, it's a very long story, but my son ended up having the surgery. He ended up getting a plate put on his ankle, which then became infected. He was on like horse-sized antibiotics,
Yeah.
2 double doses for 8 months. I mean, it was just, and I was just saying to him, okay, honey, I hope you've learned surgery isn't always the best way forward. You could have put that ankle in a cast and it would have been fine, because he had to end up having a second surgery to get the plate removed, because it was, and oh my goodness, we thought we were going to lose him, but again, we don't know until we tend to have these experiences, or we've heard from other people that there is another way. And I think I was asked down to speak at a dinner last weekend, and and another speaker had got up and said, I thought endometriosis was a life sentence. I've just learned that you could actually do something different. And that was really, awesome for me.
That just gave me chills, because that's exactly when talking to people about it, that don't know about your program and don't know about your book or the cookbook or any of this stuff. And that's what they say. Yeah. And then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me help you. First, go buy this book, read it, come back to me. And, and I'm an advocate, I don't want people to think that this is the way life has to be, because it is not. I'm living proof that you can actually get out of bed. You can actually have kids. You can actually hold a job. You can have a life. Yeah. I mean, it takes time.
Exactly.
But everything,
there's no magic bullet. And I mean, I'm going to ask you more about Maddie in a minute, but I've had emails last week. I've had 14 babies as a result of this program already.
Really? Oh my God. Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Well, I hadn't really thought about the infertility elements, but I mean, I know that was always, I would say at least half, if not 3/4 of the women that come through have been struggling with infertility, spent a fortune on IVF.
Yeah.
Being told that they'd never have children. All those different things. And again, you guys do all the hard work. I'm just here to support you and direct you, give you a tool bag and give you a step-by-step. But the fact that your body has that capacity, no one ever told you that before.
Yeah. I mean, I literally went most of my life thinking I could not have kids. Yeah. And then, and my doctor's not even talking to me about it, just saying, you won't be able to have kids. And that was it. That was the conversation. There was nothing more. Nothing was explained to me why or what we could do. Yeah. And I got told that at, I think it was like 18.
Oh, it's just awful.
And then when I brought it up, in my 20s, they said, oh, well, we'll talk about it when you're, I think she even said to me, like, when you're married and you're ready. And I was like, wait a minute, I still want to know what's going on. Like, why are you telling me this? And she never told, so I left that doctor because I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and go to someone who's telling me something and not even explaining why or how or what the functioning of what is wrong with my body.
Yeah.
So that was really, really tough for me. And, the one thing too that, I'm just going to kind of throw out there too. I mean, we probably may get back to it. For me, the steps of getting healthy and trying to even have a baby was a bumpy road. Yeah. I did get really healthy. I got healthy. I lost weight. I was in the best shape of my life. I got pregnant, but it didn't hold. And I ended up having a miscarriage. But to me, after the disappointment and everything, I kind of really took it as like a great opportunity to know that my body even tried.
That was a big thing for you, wasn't it? Because you've been told you'd never have any.
Yeah.
It was so sad for you, and it was an early miscarriage, but it gave you that kind of, oh my goodness, I can fall pregnant. And then you did fall pregnant.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted you to share more about Maddie. So tell us about that, because that was such a beautiful time for you. You obviously had the disappointment, but at the same time, we were like, but you can fall pregnant. That's the great thing.
Yeah.
What you want to do to support your body to ensure the pregnancy maintained after that as well.
Yeah. And that, and I want women to know too, that yes, it was a hard time, but sometimes you got to make the hard times there's a little bit of light, and it's super, super tiny. Yeah. But if you find that light, you'll really be able to find the good in a horrible situation.
But you knew why as well. Because we talked about that as well. You knew why because it was so early on.
Yes.
And you kind of knew why. And I think that's where you were so great at being able to take a very sad situation and see, well, actually, the silver lining is I can actually fall pregnant. Being told that I couldn't, well, I know that I can, as disappointing as it was. Now I know what to do to shore up the pregnancy and to ensure that I go full term.
Yes, yep. Yeah, because I if I recall, I was using the progesterone cream this for Maddie when I got pregnant with her, but I can't remember if I used it the first time around, because that was early. I don't think you did, and then I was encouraging you, obviously, certainly for the first 3 months anyway. You just keep using it because and that's what we did, and that's actually what I'm in the process of trying to do again, because I'm thinking about getting pregnant. We're trying, but not trying. Yeah, it's one of those. We'll see what happens, but I'll use progesterone cream because I know it's really good for me, and I know it helped before. So.
Awesome.
But
so tell me about falling pregnant with Maddie. That was such a beautiful thing, and I think I've got a great photograph of you and Brian. Brian's kissing your lovely, beautiful pregnant belly on the website, and it's just such a lovely photograph.
Yeah, thank you. It was. I will say that the first 2 months were, of course, bumpy. I had the morning sickness. I ended up getting migraines for the first time ever, and I had a lot of pelvic pain. But the pelvic pain was because my muscles were so weak. Yeah. And I didn't know this till after I got pregnant, that I could have went to physical therapy and she could have helped with those muscles. Yeah. But what I ended up doing instead was I went to the chiropractor. I've been going to the chiropractor for years, but that really helped during my pregnancy a lot. That helped with a lot of the pains. And after a while, after I started growing and got used to it, I was pain-free.
Awesome. What was that like emotionally? When you're being told by these people in respected authoritarian kind of positions, like, no, you'll never fall pregnant. And then there you are, like when she was born, what was that like, just to hold her in your arms and think, wow.
It was still so surreal that I still cannot fathom it today. And she's 2 in a couple months. And I still have not come to terms with, oh my God, she's mine. Yeah. Like, this is my little girl. Not just I had a child, I had my daughter, first off. That's what I always wanted. But I still can't even wrap my head around the fact that my body did this. I mean, obviously she's here, she's in person, and she's been here for a while, but I just, it's still such a miracle to me that I cannot believe that this actually happened. And the fact that we're even trying for another one is still like, whoa, like this is my life now. It's a whole different life, and it is absolutely amazing.
Oh, I'm so pleased. And even just hearing you talk about when you were 18 and you're being told you wouldn't have children, again, there's so many beautiful young women being told to have hysterectomies, and that just breaks my heart. I mean, I think that operation, I know my mother was devastated when she had a hysterectomy, and she was never the same after that. And she was devastated because, we all need our uterus and our wombs up until we're 80s and our 90s, producing hormones. It's not just a redundant baby bag that needs to be removed from the body. I mean, you think how the body is, the structure of the body and the scaffolding that goes on in there, the uterus separates the bladder and the intestines. But for these gorgeous young women to have these operations that are devastating to the body is really, and so the fact that you were able to avoid that, but more importantly, understand, like, you've got such a relationship with your body. Not only was it able to fall pregnant, but you get pain-free, and now you're able to hold a job and all these things that are like appear basic things, but are huge on the journey of having endometriosis.
Yeah. And I have to say too, is that once I really sat down and met with you and focused and knew that, okay, this is what I have to do for myself, that no one else can do this. And I had to make a decision whether or not I wanted to really do this, or I wanted to be lazy and half-ass it, or, you know, not put all the energy into it. And when I made that decision that I was going to do this full throttle, that, okay, you know what, it's time. I want to say within 2 to 3 months from bed rest, surgery, to being in, really, I ended up being in the best shape of my life. So quickly. I mean, 3 months, if you think about it. Okay, so these women that, you know, are thinking even about getting a hysterectomy, it almost takes 3 months for the doctor's visits, to plan the operation, to get all that stuff going, when they can kind of, you know, even in the same process, if they're doing that, maybe take out some stuff of their diet, think about what they should do, you know, talk to you, see what they can do while they wait. And if it comes down to it, cancel the operation.
Absolutely.
But try, you know, and I'm not saying this, I mean, it's easy for me to say this now because I did it and I'm where I am, but it was hard. It was hard because I wasn't eating, and you made me eat. that was tough. You know, you were adamant about what we needed to put in our body. And I'm, thank God for you, because I have learned my eating habits now, and I might not stick to them 100%, but I definitely know what I do not put in my body. I know what I will not even go near, you know, and then I also know if I want to cheat, what I can cheat with.
Yes, and you the how your body will rebel on certain things when you do that. You kind of go, okay, I know I'm going to have like bladder pressure if I have that sugary cake.
Yes, but I also plan it around, okay, am I going to be able to sit on my couch for these hours when I'm digesting, or while I'm going through this crappy feeling?
But the difference is, you now know you have that power, so you can make the connection. So like if you do, there's this fantastic gluten-free, wheat-free cake place opened up around the corner for me called Sugar Daddies, and I know that I'll give myself one a week, and I only give myself one, but I know when I have it, I have the bladder pressure. I mean, it's not pain, it's just like, but I know I can equate it to, equate it to, I'm like, oh, it's because I had that cake. So I'm, exactly. It's not like I'm saying you should eat rabbit food for the rest of your life, but you know that what you are eating, how it correlates, and able to slowly kind of, because I really am anti-diets, totally anti-diets, and anti kind of strict regimes and things, because otherwise, you know, the chance of these things being long-term are like minuscule. This is a lifestyle change forever. But the difference is, like, we're talking, and I hope that this is, women are listening to this going, oh, I get it now. It's like, yeah, there'll be things. I mean, wheat, I'm a big no-no on. Completely and utterly. Big fat cross on everything. But there are other things that your body will have, and your body will go, okay, I'll let you away with that one this time. And then go, no, we don't. That was too much. And then but the difference is, you go, I kind of knew that. So, okay, so, you know, I know what to do to help my body. And that there becomes a friendship and a relationship with your body, which is so different.
Yeah. And that's not an overnight thing. So I don't want women thinking that this is an overnight thing. I think it's very important to do this, though, because you need to be one with your body. You really need to learn and to know. And us women with endometriosis, we really do know our bodies. Yeah. It's because, especially with pain, you know the pain. You can, I mean, pinpoint where it is, you know, not quite yet how it got there, but you will learn. Yeah. And, you know, it's like, I know what I can do for food, what I can't do. I now know if I go to my friend's house, I have to bring my own food. You know, it's literally, like you said, it's a life-changing and I'm not going to use diet because it's not a diet. It's a life-changing food pattern almost.
I was going to say, yeah, I call it like good food habits because
yes, there you go. Yes.
Yeah, because I really don't like the word diet because it puts restrictions on.
But it's not
the fact that you're even saying, well, I'll take my own food to my friends. That's awesome because you're thinking about yourself. You've made the connection to what your body likes and what it doesn't like, because that's part of the journey is really listening. And I'm, you know, when people say, I did an interview with someone, I'm not sure they're going to be on the podcast, we'll see. But she was very much, oh, I can't believe you're advocating meat. And I'm like, no, I advocate meat if it's grass-fed, hormone-free and stuff. And I said, look, we have these teeth for a reason. You know? We're allowed to eat meat, but just not the rubbish that's being presented to us. And she said, but why don't you give, and I'm like, well, I don't want to put those conditions on the women I work with because it's not going to last. You know, the only thing I say is no wheat because it's so abrasive to the intestinal tract. It causes like instant pain and it takes weeks to get rid of. But other elements, it's quite easy to adapt to the healthy eating habits because you can make the connections between what your body likes, loves, and really dislikes. And then you're the living testament of that.
It's definitely, it's an everyday thing that I think about, you know, every time, because you eat more than 3 times a day. So it's constantly, it's in your head. And, you know, I really think that's one of the most important lessons that I did learn from you, because it's nice to have a meal and not hurt. It's nice to enjoy a meal. It's nice to have this relationship with food now because it was really tough. You know, I didn't know why I was so bloated, you know, and now, you know, I can tell within the last few bites if I'm going to be bloated or not. And then I'm like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done this. But I'm like, oh, it was so good. And, you know, you kind of almost have that little fight with you in your head, but you also remember the next time. Exactly. You know, it just sticks with you. And it's everywhere you go is food. Everywhere. You go to the park, you go to a festival, a carnival, a concert. These are things that if people don't want to be in pain every day, this is something that we need to learn. And it's that important that it's going to help you for the long run. It's not going to help you. I mean, hold on. It's not just something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to last forever. And you'll have these eating habits for the rest of your life. And you won't be in pain because of it.
Absolutely. And to be pain-free and to put the condition in remission is insane. I mean, to be able to have that power, which nobody ever told you that you had, is just, I mean, wow. And what about the emotional journey? Because there's the physical and there's the reduction and elimination of pain. And then there's kind of getting your head around the foods and the products and all that kind of stuff. But what about the emotional journey for you? How has that been?
I'd say pretty good. I had in the last, probably since around the time I met you, knew that I was very spiritual anyways. But I've been really connecting to that, you know, and that goes a lot with emotions, you know. I meditate probably 3-4 times a day. At any point I can, there's always music on, you know, music is very important to me, whether it's, you know, my Pink Floyd music, the classic rock, or even meditation music, or just chimes or nature sounds. There's always something, you know, so that has helped a lot with emotions, a lot with my mental state. And I've learned how important that really is. You know, I'll never forget, you told me, you know, to journal and meditate and all that. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to do that.
You're like, I don't think so.
Yeah. And now like I said, I meditate before bed, when I wake up, throughout the day. I meditate with Maddie. I write my 3 gratefuls every night. I don't necessarily journal. I kind of have my own way now.
I like how you're saying that. You're like, don't nag me about that, Wendy.
Yeah. I do a lot still in my head because I always told you I did. But I'm very more aware. You know, obviously there are some things that I do still need to fix and work on myself. But everyone will have that. You know, I've come to
the
terms.
word you've used is aware, and that is
Yes.
so powerful, because sometimes we can just be in this fog of life.
Oh God, yeah.
We're just existing. We're just like getting through.
Yep.
We're chronic fatigue.
Yep.
We can't think. We don't know what to eat. We don't know what, like, relationships that are toxic, relationships with people that are just like, oh, sucking you dry. And you're just like walking through treacle every day.
Yeah,
So to
that's,
have
yep.
those tools is amazing.
Yeah. And it, I mean, it took time. Again, it's not an overnight thing. And it's not something, you know, you're not going to get used to it in the first 5 days you do it. You got to do it more. And then, you know, it's baby steps. Again,
Well,
like
I have this 21-day challenge now, which maybe you could come on and for fun and do it
Okay.
sometime, because again, it's all about the important challenging women to put themselves first for 21 days and to, you know, to look at the journaling, look at the meditation, and be with a group of women who are doing the same thing. Because I mean, imagine how what you're doing with Maddie. You're teaching her amazing skills.
Yes.
And that's what I love about the tools of the program, is these are not only practical tools, but these are kind of restorative tools that can be with you for life, and influencing the next generation down.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. And that's one thing that I love, is that I get to teach my daughter all these tools I learned. I get to teach my girlfriend's daughters what I have learned, because not only is it about my daughter, but who knows if my friends' daughters are going to have this. You know, all my friends that have supported me through all this, they have even seen a change and know too that, oh, you can't eat that. Or, oh, you know, for example, I went to the gym with my girlfriend today. She knows I cannot do certain things. So she looked at me, she saw that I kind of was struggling and kind of pushing myself. And she reminded me, you don't need to do that. You do half of what I'm doing. And I was like, oh, you know, thank you. Because we do want to push ourselves to the max, but having that little reminder, and that's another important thing too, is use the people around you. It is so important, back to what you were saying, you know, to have that table. Use your friends, use your mother, use your aunt. If your boyfriend is supportive, use him. If he's not, do not use him. Find someone else.
But that's part of the program as well, is how to communicate to friends and family in a way that gets them to support you if they're into that, because it's such a lonely, isolating condition. And it might be counterintuitive. And you're right, maybe the boyfriend or the partner or the parents or whatever might be very toxic and very negative. So you have to be very mindful, you know, of who you ask to support you, because what we're looking to clear is, I refer to as the 5 Ps now, the 5 poisons: produce, food, products, property, past, and people. So there's all these different elements that are toxic to us as women, that we need to, as you mentioned, to have that awareness about. Some of it we'll be able to control, some of it we just need to let go. What we can't control, we let go. And that's new, because again, women with endometriosis tend to be so caring, so thoughtful. They extend themselves out beyond their ability, which is a beautiful quality, but not if you're ill, not if you're in pain. You know, as you said right at the beginning, you have to put yourself first, because when I was in bedridden and chronic levels of pain, and I wanted to save the world, I couldn't even save myself. It's like, hello, Wendy. Just tap on the shoulder. Do you think you could maybe get yourself well first, and then you could maybe help other women? So I share that because I recognize it wasn't selfishness, it was essentialness, because then I could.
It's just so important. I mean, we are so busy in our lives and society nowadays that we don't even think or care or just go. And really, 10 minutes is all we really need for ourselves. I mean, we wish we could have more, but if you could take 10 minutes and do something, even if it's something that you love, I mean, it builds up everything for the rest of the day, for the rest of, you know, until the next time. You know, it gives you that little motivation to keep going, or just to fill your heart with some type of love. But we don't have to constantly give. One thing what I had a lot of trouble doing is receiving. That's where I had trouble. And I know a lot of women do.
Yeah.
Because we're givers. We don't want to receive. We don't need to receive.
Well, there's a discomfort in it. But I was saying to someone the other day.
Okay,
like,
yes.
Yeah, there's a discomfort. It's like you want people to be nice to you, but when because invariably there's a lot of toxic people out there. There's no doubt about it. A lot of angry, toxic people. So you kind of defend yourself against those people. But when someone's nice to you, you're like, why are you being nice to me? What do you want? What do you want from me? And yes. Actually, even if they're genuine, your old me would be like, oh, well, once you get to know me, you won't like me. So it is kind of like all these beliefs and defense mechanisms that are there from conditioning from early childhood for whatever reason, one way or the other. Yeah. And then we need to kind of go, as you say, it's like, I had to get to the stage where I was constantly wanting to help people. I'm like, you can't help anyone until you help yourself. Help yourself first, then help someone. And then I'm like, no, I want to help. Nope, help yourself. And I think I refer to it as self-parenting. If you can parent yourself and be kind to yourself, and it's lovely to hear that, you know, you're listening to your music and your meditation and your painting, because that's very restorative on a soul level, on a spiritual level, as you talk about, you know, and whatever anyone else's beliefs, there's still that sense of coming back to self, because invariably anything and everything that you're seeking externally lies within you. Answers, whether it be questions, all the answers. But unless you allow yourself that space, you know, of just giving yourself the time and just tuning in, which is counterintuitive when you're in pain. I get that. But again, once you're taught the tools, you can then be very practical with those.
And once you get there, it is a really great feeling, especially to look back and be like, you look how far I came. Like, look how great, like, I feel it and what I've learned and what I'm doing now. And it's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind that I'm not stuck on the couch like I was 4 years ago and like dying. I mean,
I must try and find that video for you, because I think you...
Oh, I have it. I've seen it every once in a while. I'm like, I don't want to watch it because I look like I'm dying. I mean,
In fact, maybe you could send it to me, because I don't know what I did with it, but if you could send it to me, because that would be a great before and after, wouldn't it? You know, just for people to see, because I think, and it's natural, we're all quite cynical creatures, really. We're all like, yeah, sure. You know, and if people are listening to this going, yeah, I bet she's just a paid actress, Wendy's paid to come on and talk about this. You know, it's just like, is this for real? It's like,
no, I'll send it to you, because people will not believe the difference. The fact that I'm even sitting in it's a, like, you know, those high bar stool tables, that's what I'm sitting on. I could not physically sit like this.
That's right. You were lying in bed. I can still see the image. In my head.
Yeah. I couldn't sit in a chair. I mean, I had to leave my job because it got so bad that I couldn't sit down, or I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything. But I remember trying to sit. I mean, just thinking about it almost takes my breath away, because it was so painful just to sit, just to have my pelvic in that position. And like, it was hard to breathe. I mean, just like I said, talking to you was, I mean, it was, I remember crawling on the floor to get to the bathroom, and my brother coming home and just like, okay. And just walking away like it was nothing, because it was normal for me to crawl from the living room and crawl to the bathroom.
Yeah, I relate to that. You know, I'd be crawling on my hands and knees, whatever, you know, and kind of becoming like that was a normal sight for seeing mom crawling on her hands and knees. But isn't it interesting? I mean, I'm hoping to do more live events. I'm actually coming out to Colorado in August time. So if you're able to fly out and
no, but that would be so cool to go out there, because I know your guests don't know, but I'm in upstate New York. So
awesome. And is that close to Colorado? My geography. No.
No, that's on the other side of the states.
Well, if you can fly out to see, because I think what I'm wanting to do in time is have live events where we can all come together, and I literally award you endo bosses with medals. I want you to cross the stage, because
that would be,
and literally, because I've said this a number of times, like, we all deserve a medal. You know, there's people gone into war and suffered unduly, and what happens then, you end up having a war with you're at war with your body. And if you learn to you know, have a paradigm shift and turn that 180 degrees and learn to befriend your body, you deserve a medal. So I'm looking at these things because I want the community of endo bosses, people who have become a boss of their endometriosis, to become part of this new movement of women, so that we can share and we can ripple out to all these women that are suffering at home, that are listening, thinking with adenomyosis or endometriosis or cysts or fibroids or with infertility. Actually, your body's amazing. And I know they're like, I don't want to hear this body's amazing, Wendy, because I'm not feeling it right now.
You know? But it is though. But that you have to come to terms with too. You know, it takes time. It
takes time, exactly. And I think that's the thing as well. We're part of this culture now. We expect everything yesterday, and we want it now. We want it faster, and it does take time. I mean, I say at least, you know, 10 to 12 weeks, but invariably it might take up to 22 weeks for women to get their bodies back into shape after decades of suffering.
And every person is different. That's the other thing that we all need to remember, is that not one person on this planet is in the same exact path. We may have the same bumps or the same mountains to climb, but they're different mountains, you know. And everyone, you know, can take everything that you're learning, but, you know, like you just said, it's not going to happen overnight. Every person is going to have their own process of how they handle what you're teaching us and what skills to, because someone might not, again, I didn't take the meditation. It took me like 2 years to figure that out on my own after you telling me for many months to do it. And again, I was like, no. And now look at me.
How wonderful that you got there. And I love that you're still doing your art, your creativity, that you're back to work, you're thinking about falling pregnant again. I just have to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a joy. And what would you say to women? What are your parting words that you would say to anyone who's maybe got the book and thinking they're struggling on their own? What would you say to someone who's maybe just thinking, oh, I need to have another surgery? What would you say to these women, having been there and done it yourself?
Really believe in yourself and know that this isn't the life that you want, and that this is the life that you can change. That everyone, that you personally can change the pain, that you can fix yourself out of this, that you just really almost need to dig deep. I mean, like the deepest part in your soul, and really be like, okay, I'm ready. I can do this.
And they don't have to do it on their own.
Exactly.
Because
and that's the great thing.
I had to do this on my own.
Yeah.
And I found various people on the way, but I've created it in such a way so that you don't have to do it on your own.
Yeah. And that makes it less scarier.
Exactly. And it's a sign of strength to reach out for help, because I think that's the other thing.
Yes, that's huge. Yes.
It's a sign of strength. It's not weakness, because again, I think a lot of women with endometriosis, I'm generalizing here, have just literally battled on their own. They've had to not had the support that they needed. But actually, when you're around safe people, it's okay to reach out to safe people for support.
Yes.
You don't have to do this.
It's almost like you
can't do this on your own. I mean, literally, you get the fast track version, because it took me years to figure all this out. But you get the fast track version. You know these fast tracks at airports where everyone wishes, oh, I wish I'd paid that a little bit extra to go on the fast track. I'm waiting for hours. And you get the fast track because I've done all the hard work. So there is no requirement. But I think that's a big thing. As somebody said to me, oh, I thought I was being weak by asking for help or reaching out for support. Yeah.
And you know, and then that goes back to where I said that I had trouble with receiving, because we give. I'm a giver. I didn't like to receive. I didn't think that I deserved to receive. And now I've learned that the only way that my life is going to better is that I have to receive.
Awesome. That is it's so wonderful to hear. You
have to give and receive. It's both.
Exactly. But if you keep giving, you end up empty. And we know the saying, you can't give from an empty cup, you know. We know the oxygen mask in our, we know all that, but invariably it's our body that becomes the messenger to scream out at us that there are certain aspects, I refer to the 5 Ps, that need, and within that, you need to be seen, heard, and valued but you have to start valuing yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That is so, so important. And it's crazy that I'm even saying this because I would have never thought it, but that is 100% correct.
Yeah. And as I say, with Maddie as well, you know, you're going to be influencing her. You're going to be changing those patterns of self-care for her. So she's going to see her mom taking care of herself. So she's going to, so you're going to save your daughter the pain.
Yeah. I don't, that just is, it makes me speechless. And it just builds my heart so much to know that I get to teach her all these things that I have learned, and that I can help her save herself really in the long run is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, I'm the same with my daughter, to be, you know, be able to save her the decades. And when I say decades, it's like so many women have suffered for decades, tens of years, you know, this is ridiculous. So what would you say to anyone considering taking the foundation program as a former student and had so much success yourself?
It is so worth it. It's a game changer. I mean, really, that's it. Drop mic, whatever. You have to do this because your life will change for the better. You will be able to look back in that moment and just say that was a chapter. And that chapter is not going to come back up. It will in talking and advocating for this. And that's what's the most important thing is that you get to now advocate for yourself and for someone else that you may meet at work or on the street or anywhere that's having these problems, and you get to say, you know, I can help you.
Learn how to become an endo boss. That's what I'm hoping in time is like we have this mass movement of women who've become endo bosses and my coach had said to me recently, you have a responsibility to get your previous students to say, I've got a responsibility to share this message because it's so. And another student has said to me recently, it wasn't so much life-changing, Wendy, it was life-giving. It gave me my life.
Pretty much.
Taking it away.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful, isn't it?
It's incredible. It really is. It's just, it's mind-blowing that I think about it and I'm like, I should be in pain. And then I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I'm feeling great. Like, I feel the best I've ever felt. Oh, this is normal. This is what you should feel like. You should be normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Not normal, but normal for me now is no pain.
Which is amazing, and full credit to you and all your hard work. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and sharing where you are, because I know there'll be so many women. I think we're at like 60,000 downloads now, so we've got like a good following of women coming through who will be listening to this and feel inspired, and that know that it's not because there's the medical field, but there's also these kind of woo-woo people now that are making big grand claims that like, oh, a bit of ginger and water will like the body doesn't work to just ginger and water. There's all these multiple layers. So it's wonderful for people to be able to hear you and hear where you are now and your continued success.
I think a lot too is that people want to change and people want to do it naturally. And I think that's where, and I'm hoping to God, that's where society is going. And the most important thing is that I think people want to help each other.
Yes.
And to feel good and to bring happiness to our life. And that's one thing that I loved about this is that it took all that, wrapped it all together, and brought me to where I am now as a person. So thank you.
My pleasure. You were an amazing student and it's such a joy. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you again in another wee while and see where you're at and what you're doing with your journey. And
hopefully I'll have more kids.
Hopefully you'll have more kids. But thank you so much. And for those of you who are listening, remember Stacey's story. And Stacey, you're going to send me that link.
Yes, I will.
Where you were, so you can see and hear where Stacey was, because I think that would be an amazing, for people really to relate to and go, oh my goodness, that's me. That's where I am right now. And look, that's where Stacey is now. So if you're at home and you're listening to this and you are just feeling full of despair, I'm always saying never, ever, ever give up. There is another way. Nobody told you that. The doctors don't even know it because they're not trained in that. You know, you can get my book, Heal Endometriosis Naturally Without Painkillers, Drugs, and Surgery, on Amazon. You can even get a free paperback copy at my website, healendometriosisnaturallybook.com. I just ask you to pay the shipping. Or I've got this new program called the 21-Day Challenge, which challenges you to put yourself first for 21 days. It's a lot harder than you might think. And it's so much fun. Women have felt it is fun. People have come together in a really loving way and supportive way. And it's, yeah, as I say, it's fun. I think women get so much from it. And then, of course, there's the foundation program where we get down to the bare bones of what's going on. So if you're listening to this and you're ready to take the next step, then go to healendometriosisnaturally.com, and I look forward to meeting you there. But until then, thank you very much again, Stacey. You've been an absolute star.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate us. If you're interested in learning more, you can download your top 5 jumpstart tips at healendometriosisnaturally.com and jump on the VIP email list. Remember to keep you number one, for the world needs a healthy you.